like while we were writing our song God Is Really Real, we're just like crying. Of course we don't want to be feeling what we're feeling right now about our dad, but we have to feel it 10 times as much and spit out something so that when someone else goes through that with their dad, they don't feel so alone, and they don't feel like they're doing this for the first time.
And that's the gratifying part, right? That's the ultimate gratification.
Yeah, because it gives larger meaning. Well, hopefully
Totally.
helping yourself find some sort of peace or healing or understanding or whatever. What do you get out of that song?
That song?
Yeah. Outside of what it does for other people, what do you get?
I get to. Okay, so the let me tell you the story of that. So what happened was, we were in Paris, and our dad was. It's ironic. He was like the nicest guy in the world. You knew him really well, and it's ironic that the way that we discovered that he was sick was doing an extremely nice thing. A woman had like dropped her phone on a bike and started biking, and he grabbed the phone and just ran many blocks to go give it back to her. And then when he finally caught up to her, gave it back, and then he was like, "Oh my God, I feel like I just ran a marathon. Like something hurts." So we went to the hospital and discovered that there was an issue with his lung. And then what happened was we didn't know what it was. No one knew yet. It ended up being cancer, but they didn't know that yet. So what happened was we were on tour, and he was in a Paris hospital, and we were like, wait, we have a show tomorrow. We etched the lyrics a little bit because it worked. We gotta leave for Paris, but we were in Paris leaving for another city, and we were gonna like vomit. We felt so bad about the idea of leaving our dad behind. Should we cancel the show? Should we not? We had to fly someone out. So we made the decision, and he was like, you guys go do the show. I will be fine. Not a big deal. So we did the show, and they still didn't know what it was, and it started to be really scary. So Ryan started that song like a day, 2 days later. And it was so important. It sucked, but it was so important that he did that because we were never going to be that raw again of like wondering what will happen to him, because your mind goes to the worst place, right? And that's exactly the feeling that we were in. And the lines such as like, you can come along and be a roadie for the band. Please get out of bed. Or now it's late. I think it's time to go. We had just experienced that. We were in his hospital in the room, and we had to leave and go to another city and kind of turn around and watch our dad alone in a hospital bed. We just experienced that. And I don't think that rawness kind of was ever felt again by me. Even when he passed, I was devastated, like beyond belief. But that rawness, I don't think I can ever really get to that real a place again, because I'm so sad, and I'm like, my body's just like burying stuff like naturally. But that song now is kind of the only place that I can go to feel that again, to like really be in person with him and feel the ultimate raw emotion. So that was a really long answer, but that's what that song does for me now.
That's really beautiful. And that's the power of music before it belongs to anybody else, it is a journal or a diary entry or something that is personal and solely yours, right? So that's just a true testament to that.
Yeah.
Your dad was also your biggest fan.
He was our biggest fan, and he was also our best critic, honestly. When we first started writing OK Orchestra, we wrote a bunch of bad songs in a row, and when we do that, we feel really vulnerable. We're like, we're never going to write a good song again. But we didn't know it at the time, and we played it all for my dad.
Before you finish that, I think if, just like to add some humor to it, I think if fans like saw us in this, because always when we start an album, we always write a couple terrible songs, right? Always. And those are the songs we end up not keeping. If they saw us in the situation, they would be like, I'm not a fan of this band anymore. Ryan and I are like yelling at each other. We're like, what even is a song? We're running around the room. It's fucking chaos in there. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to give people an image of what that was.
How many songs in though before you figure it out?
Only maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But truly, like, I know we're just different from other artists. So many of our friends are like, oh, you got to write 150 songs, and that's so valid. It's for some reason we just can't do it like that. And we get so upset if the next song we write is not going on the album. We start yelling at each other. We're so angry.
Yeah.
We forgot how to write songs. And
it affects our whole identity. We are worse people because we can't write a good song today.
Yeah. And it happens every time, and we don't remember from last time, for some reason. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, that's fine. And I remember we wrote a bunch of bad songs for OK Orchestra, and then my dad called me and said, Ryan, I got to be honest, I don't think these songs are up to the like quality of Neo Theater. They're just, it feels like you're kind of like rushing through them to get the album done or whatever. And I remember going, screw him, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then the next day I woke up and I was like, holy shit, he's right. And the next song I wrote was World's Smallest Violin, because I wanted to impress him. I wanted to do a song that went down and up and sped up at the end. And what a useful dad to have. Like it just would have been nothing for him to say, every song you make is great, son. We wouldn't be making the albums we're making now. And that's really just terrible that he's not here anymore to do that, to say that kind of stuff. I don't know how we're going to make our next album, but we'll try.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I feel for you. I feel for the three of you very much.
Thank you.